And there, it's official. We are live. Okay, my audio's silly. One sec. Let me turn
We cannot have silly audio.
All right. Do you recall the old radio days? Like you probably from hearing your grandfather listen to radio, where there's a guy in the background in the studio making sound effects, like shaking a shaker and go boing, all that stuff. I always thought as a little kid, I was like, that's got to be the coolest job. You just sit around making silly noises while somebody else is talking. But let's do this. People, as they start to join live, I want to make sure that I give you a good and proper introduction. So first of all, AC, it's good to see you.
Thank you.
How's Karen? How's family?
She's doing wonderful. Family's great. Got a beautiful grandchild. I can't call him a grandbaby anymore because he's like 20 months now. And
oh yeah.
Yep. And so we're hoping to get some good news here. Well, we got the good news. We'll see if AJ and Deirdre share it, but looks like we're going to be a repeat on the grandchild thing here. So
all right. Are they close by?
Yes. Yeah. They live in the next neighborhood over. So yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. I've got a 3-year-old and 2-year-old grandchild, and they're close enough to us. We see them every week, and just a lot of fun. It's fun to see them once a week instead of constantly, just because you get to see the development go. It's like every time we see them, there's something new. There's new vocabulary. There's a new thing. Yeah. It's a blast.
Yeah, we get to see little Alfie about every other day. So,
all right, good. Well, I'm eager to get into our topics tonight because I've got a couple questions for you. But for anybody that is not really familiar with you, and it's funny because you've been in the industry for 35 years and you're a pillar of starting this soft wash industry. I refer to you as the godfather of soft wash, but you've been in it since 1991. You have Soft Wash Systems, Drop It International. You've done manufacturing, education, licensing, equipment, been a contractor, coaching, chemicals. Like you span, run the gamut in the soft wash and power washing industry. Yeah. So what am I missing there? You published a book 2 years ago.
Redfish Tour National Champion, which is important. I got to pursue my passion and become a professional fisherman and won a national championship, which is pretty cool. And patent holder, 2-time over patent holder, 2-time over author. Just cool, fun stuff. Being from a kid that got kicked out of college, came home with his tail between his legs and started a roof cleaning company back in October of 1991.
Yeah. And it was in Florida, right?
Yes. Yeah. In Florida.
Right on. So when you first started cleaning roofs in Florida, I've been on way too many of those barrel tile roofs in Tampa Bay. I used to live down at Clearwater. Were you wanding, power washing by wand, or when did you discover chemicals and the beauty of cleaning with chemicals?
My dad helped me out. I'm a child of privilege. My dad bought me a $1,000 Mitsubishi pickup truck and a $500 pressure washer from Sam's, and that was the seed money. And so I got up on my grandmother's roof, which was a shingle roof, to pressure wash it off, and was sandblasting my shins with the aggregate that was coming off the roof. And I went, oh, this can't be the right way to do this. And after 2 or 3 roofs pressure washing them, I said, I'm causing more damage than I'm cleaning the roof, for crying out loud. And so I do have a vocational degree in horticulture, and had the only jobs I've ever had in my entire life was in high school and early college. I had jobs in plant nurseries, and I was a nursery specialist, and I got a vocational degree while I was going to high school, dual enrolled in horticulture. And so I knew that you could spray different chemicals on plants to kill algae, mold, mildew, fungus, bacteria, things like that. I identified what was growing on the roofs is nothing different than the black tar fungus that grows on a crepe myrtle bush down here in Florida. And so I just went into research on what I would use to kill it on plants, and I started spraying that on the roofs, which was great. It would kill it eventually, but it was really hard to look at a customer and say, hey, I sprayed this magical chemical on your roof. And your roof in about 3 months is going to come clean from the rain pelting on it and everything else. And it's going to look really, really great in 3 months. I know it still looks black today, but can I pick up my check, please? And yeah, it didn't work out. So I had to figure out a way to get the roof instantly, bam, clean. And I knew that you could take, most kids here in Central Florida, back in the day when you did chores to get an allowance. I know it's a weird thing nowadays, but chores to get an allowance. Your back porch, your pool deck furniture, all that stuff would get dirty, and your parents would have you go out and clean it. You take a pump up sprayer, put some bleach in there, put some water in there, put a squirt of dishwashing detergent in there, pump it up, shake it up, and spray the full pool furniture, the deck, and everything else. And you knew that could clean it, but because it was just bleach and soap, it was bam, back in 3 to 6 months.
Right.
So I had to figure out a way to get a 99.8% kill ratio and get some longevity out of it. And that research and development period was basically October of 91 through about March of 92. Came up with a process called the Mallard system. We did not call it soft washing back then. Tim Asselton up in Tallahassee actually coined that phrase, seminal soft wash. And I called it the exclusive Mallard system, and we were off to the races.
That's fun. Yeah. The birth of an industry. Hey, before we go further, I want to tell everybody that's jumping on live, I see you there. Thank you for joining us live. Say hello in the comments so that we know you're here. Tell us who's here, where you're from. Are you coming to the huge convention?
Yeah.
So, looking forward to that. I'm going to shift gears just a little bit from the birth of an industry to the huge convention. It's coming up in slightly less than a month. How many? Have you been at all of them? I know you've been at most.
I haven't. I have not been at all of them. I think I missed the first 3. I think the very, very first one that we did was National Harbor in Maryland.
Okay.
And that's about 10 years ago now.
Yeah, that was 2017. That was that's the first time I went. So that's pretty cool. All right. First of all, howdy, Casey. Good to see you, man. Good. So I want to snap back to what you're talking about when kids used to do chores to earn allowance, and the idea of putting bleach water and some soap in a pump sprayer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how phenomenal to think that actually led to a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy, and how many people's lives it's blessed. And you look at the contractors that do it, and you look at the people like Casey that build equipment, and the suppliers, and people have come up with soaps and all the different things out there that have branched off of this thing that we all call soft washing now, and there's a lot of revenues coming from it.
Yeah. Oh, so I didn't call it soft washing. When I was in Clearwater, Florida, that was in 93 to 2000. I just was cleaning windows, but an acquaintance of mine had a power wash window cleaning business, was much larger. One day he just calls me out of the blue, and I'd helped him with some odd jobs. And he goes, Sid, we're moving to Atlanta. We're selling the business. You want to buy it? And I'm like, I don't have any money. He's like, come talk to us anyway.
Oh my goodness.
Ended up buying their customer list and a broken down trailer and the worst power washer in the world for a couple $1,000s. And lo and behold, it was like, it was about $120,000 worth of annual revenue that I picked up for literally, it was $3,500. But I was out, just power blasting stuff. Didn't know what I was doing. I was damaging things really bad. And they had one former employee that called me and he said, hey, I need some extra work. You do anything? And I'm like, yeah, I got some jobs coming up.
Yeah.
And he showed me the magic of downstreaming some pool bleach out of the old yellow tubs, and particularly on the screen closures around swimming pools in Florida. And I was like, oh my God, it's a miracle. I can't believe it. I'd never gotten paid so much for so little of my time. The results was there. But
the reward to effort is pretty commensurate for sure.
Yeah. Cool. Got to say hi to Richard. Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah. There's one of my soft wash systems guys.
Excellent. All right. Well, I've got a handful of questions for you. So I
Sure.
know you've always been a big supporter of the huge convention, but even more so supporting people in the soft wash and power wash industry. As I mentioned earlier, through you've been the technician, you've been the contractor, you manufacture, but a lot of stuff you do is education and support. I know you're licensing / franchising, equipment manufacturing, chemicals, the whole thing. But I was digging deeper into your bio and stuff, and there was this one statement that stood out. It was like, it said AC believes in systems over talent. Systems over talent. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because I was like, oh, hell yeah. That was my reaction to that.
Yeah. So I'm probably the prime example of what you don't want in a team member. Is somebody that is so talented that they're extemporaneous and they can make it up as they go along, and they can just wing it because they're so good at winging it. They're so talented. They have so many skills and gifts that God has given them that they really don't settle down and build something. And so that plagued me all of my life. And, I finally had to stop keeping it all up here and start putting together training classes and systems and spreadsheets and dashboards and scoreboards and develop all of this stuff so that I could get it to where I didn't have to be the person wrapping my arms around my entire company forever and ever and ever. Amen. And so it's bad when you have team members like that. It's worse when the owner is like that they're so wildly talented that they can just, every day just pull success out of their butt, and because I was talking to another entrepreneur this week, somebody that everybody knows, and they got a big offer to sell their company. And the only problem is they wanted them to stay in the business, and they had a partner. And so they were going to get, 50-50 share of the cash portion of the sale, but then this other person was going to get a 2-year paycheck too for X amount of dollars. And it created an inequitable position that one person was going to get more money and opportunity than the other for a sale of the business that had 50-50 partners in it.
Yeah.
And so they came back and said, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. It has to be an all cash deal. It has to be 50, so we can split it between the partners so it can be equitable. I can't go to work for you for 2 years. We'll be around if you have any questions and all, but I'm not going to run this thing for you for 2 years. And the deal fell through because the company felt like that the guy that was the 50% owner was also kind of the managing owner of the company.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we just think you're too intricate in the company, too involved in the company. The company rises and falls on your ability to ride in on your white horse and save the day. We don't feel like we can make a good transition without that. So if you're not willing to stay on for 2 years, there's no deal. And it's like, he said to me, it was an awakening. And he said, so I've deliberately this year stayed away from the company. He says, I only show up once a quarter for 1 day to go over all the books and everything else and the financial data and stuff like that. And I'm down to just working 1 day a quarter to absolutely prove that this business can run without me, and so that it can have the value that somebody would just go ahead and buy it with cash and not feel like they have to have that person there. And so you've heard the saying, you got to dumb everything down to a 3rd grade level. Yes, you do. You have to pretend like somebody has double-digit IQ or 3rd grade education, and and that because of the systems you put into place, the thing will run seamlessly. And so that's what I really try to put together with my businesses.
Yeah, no, that's great. I've seen guys that are really talented that just, your words, they can pull success out of their butt. They're always, they can improvise and think on their feet, and they're really good, and they can't scale because of that.
It's horrible. Yeah.
Yeah. And then other guys who, arguably they're maybe not that bright, but they don't try to make stuff up. They just go, show me the manual.
They just execute. Yeah.
Just do what it says.
Yeah.
And you go, you don't have to be fancy. You just have to be consistent.
Yeah.
So, man, all right. When in your career, as you've gone through several, probably you call it reinventions, but a lot of different transitions from, originally as a contractor, then starting to be the manufacturer, the chemicals guy, the educator, the licensing guy, and an investor. Which of those transitions have been more difficult?
Well, this kind of goes back to my topic for my keynote at the huge convention. The title is bet the farm, fumble the ball, go for broke, and it was actually going to be bet the farm, screw the pooch, go for broke. but we market tested that, and a bunch of people frowned. I went, why? What? They're like, screw the pooch. Come on, AC, you're more mature than that. I'm like, that's insane. You look it up. It's like a thing from NASA and everything else. It's the engineers used to say, we screwed the pooch and everything. And they're like, not a good visual. It's Okay,
that's fair.
We decided to change it to bet the farm, go fumble the ball, and go for broke, because it's really the tale of everything that I've done. Sometimes you score great, and sometimes you land on your face. Sometimes, like, there's incredible shifts in the economy right now, consumer confidence, and just lots of things going on. And so the phone stops ringing here, but it's ringing over here, and you need to do this or you need to do that, or certain market segments cool off and all, and the amount of shift. So the subtitle is the art of the pivot. And that has really been my life, is the art of the pivot. When does if you read the book, Who Moved My Cheese, when does the cheese station run out and it's never going to get replenished again? And so I've had to do a lot of shifting over the years and pivoting over the years, probably more than any other period of my life the last 2 years. A lot of cheese stations have dried up, and you start sniffing out there for the smell of cheese, and you find new ones, and things work out. But it is not for the faint of heart. It is extremely disheartening, extremally difficult, and for especially young entrepreneurs, many of the people that come to the huge convention are young entrepreneurs that are trying to find mentors, trying to do some networking, trying to get answers that you can't get on YouTube, because 70% of the stuff on YouTube is wrong. And of that 70%, 50% of that is wrong on purpose, just to screw with people. And so they know after a while that YouTube's not a good source, especially in this industry, because we have a lot of characters in this industry.
Yeah.
And they start to go, I got to go somewhere. And so I just wanted to get up on stage and, tell the story of the last, this post-COVID time in our industry and how things have gone. Because a lot of people are like, man, AC's got it all going on, and he's so successful, and he's doing all these things. And you're right. Yeah, I am. But also, too, I lost $2 million in the last 36 months.
Wow. Yeah.
And people are going to go, oh, crap. Well, I lost $200,000 in my business. Well, if you look at the scale and comparison of it, there's a reason. And $200,000 to you is like $2 million to me. But people need to know, but that's okay. And we're going to have our ups and we're going to have our downs. And we've got to pull up our bootstraps and just move forward from that.
Yeah. That it is so true. Oh, dang it. I'm trying to think of, there's a particular quote, but all that comes to mind is an old proverb that says, fall down 7 times, get up 8.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you don't quit, you don't lose. You just keep going.
I was talking to a guy yesterday, that I haven't talked to in years. He used to be one of our Softwash Systems guys. And he has another gig that's his main gig, and he was retiring, and he's getting back into soft washing more full time, and was reestablishing the connection with Softwash Systems. And he owns another company, and the logo is a 4 and a 1. And he's like, do you know what the 41 is? And I'm like, no. Is your age when you started the company? I don't know. What is it? And he says it's a biblical reference. You look at all of the times Moses wandered in the desert with the people of Israel for 40 days. Jesus went into the wilderness to the wilderness for 40 days. It's all of these times when you go through trials and tribulations, this 40 days thing or 40 years thing, is this 40 number comes up a lot.
Yeah.
But then when that 40 days is over, there's the 41st day, and that's the first day of coming out of it and becoming successful and realizing what you had gone through. And so I thought that was really, really cool. I was like, wow, that's really neat.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Hey, I just take it up on the banner. I'm gonna give away a ticket to the huge convention in about 12 minutes. So if
awesome,
all you need to do to win is answer some silly trivia question that I'm going to come up with, be the first one to answer it, and then you'll win the ticket. Tickets this year, they're $299 right? No, they're $399 right now. There are a couple of discount codes floating out there in the world, but they're still, like everybody's business, prices have gone up. They've gone up, and for chemicals, for equipment, with tariffs, with everything else, and our prices have gone up too. Because we used to keep the show prices, it'd start at $149 and it would get out all the way up to almost $300 by the show. So it went up this year. So I say
everything's gone up.
Yeah, stick around and you might just save $400 if you win this ticket.
Yeah, Barry Will just put in there, "Hey Pops." Barry calls me Pops. So
hey, there's Barry. All right, let's take this up here, Barry. I don't get on Facebook that often. Sometimes I have to, but every time I do, I see your stories. And the one most recently, you're doing a gas station. There's the cover, and you got your crews out there, and I'm like, there's Barry working it, making things happen. It always makes me happy to see.
Yeah.
All right. So here, a couple things I wanted to ask you about. It really is just talk about the state of the industry. So especially, and I don't know the story behind it, but you said the past 36 months have been some of the more challenging in your career.
Yes.
And that to me indicates a lot of changes in the industry. Let's talk about the state of the industry now. And what do you see happening? What are some of the biggest challenges that people in soft wash, power wash are facing in our country? And I know, because I keep it to U.S. just because I know you're international.
Yeah. So the number one thing that I see the most that people focus on that is absolutely wrong is they say that that the power washing business is getting flooded with competitors, and there's too many new guys entering. There's too much competition, and that they're losing jobs or feel like they're losing jobs to the perceived competition that's out there. And yes, there's a lot of people. That is all true, but they are not your competition. People don't really understand why they're getting less leads and why they're closing less jobs and why they're getting less money for the work than they may had during the home service bubble. You have to realize the vast majority of people in our industries, companies, are 5 years or younger. There's very few of us that make it to 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 35 years. I mean, at 35 years, I'm in like 1/10% of all the cleaning companies in the country.
Yeah.
But when you get these people come into it, it's cycled, and the people who are in it now are not the same people that were in it 5 years ago. And so most people that came into this business came into it during COVID. And when COVID, we had this huge, busy time where people were staying home. They had all this kind of disposable income. They weren't having to travel back and forth to work. They weren't going on vacations, so they wanted to fix up their houses and everything. And it was great. But the second half of 2023, what we've started to call the home service bubble burst. Yeah. Okay? The home service bubble burst. And that was the second half of 2023. And then things started progressively going downhill from there. And in combination with that bubble bursting and people going, well, I'm not as busy as I was. I'm not as busy as I was. And there's always outliers out there like, I'm busier than I've ever been and my company's growing. Well, good for you. You're you're in the top 10% of everybody doing pressure washing right now. The other 90% are going, it's diminishing. It's what's going on here. And we've gone into a time where your competition now is not the $99 guy down the street. It's not any of the people that you would think are competitors. I mean, here at Soft Wash Systems, we have nationwide, we have a 70% closing ratio. In Seminole County, in the Orlando area, we have a 90% closing ratio. We go out and run 10 leads, we close 9 out of the 10 on the spot. Okay? Yeah. $1,950 average ticket. Okay? We're doing really, really, really well. Okay? And so when you look at that, you're like, well, okay, that's great. But the number of leads we get anymore have just been diminishing. And the real competitor you have, the real thing that is sucking the money out of disposable income or that customers have, and your real competitor is this device right here. Because everybody now goes to this device to find home services. And if you were to go to on your phone right now and do a Google search for pressure washing, or go into Facebook or wherever you go on your device, you're going to, on the way to trying to find an exterior cleaning contractor, window cleaner, soft washer, roof cleaner, anything like that in our particular industry, you're going to get propositioned to buy a new car. You're going to get propositioned to get a new boat. You're going to get propositioned to get a pool. You're going to get propositioned for this vacation. And the distractions that come into it along the way are your true competitors, because that potential customer has to wade through all of these other things that are much, much, much sexier than roof and exterior soft washing. That money, as you're meandering through all that advertising to get to a company that you could call to clean your home, you very, very likely get distracted. And then all of a sudden you're like, what was I on my phone for? Or it's the next day or the day after, you're like, oh man, yeah, I was trying to get in touch with somebody, but I got distracted. And that now, and all of those companies coming in and competing for that little bit of disposable income that people have right now because of inflation, that is what your true competitor is. It's not your other pressure washing companies.
Yeah, I agree with that. Something we've seen in our marketplace, we've run Facebook lead ads pretty heavily, or social media lead ads, and they're doing well. Our lead cost has gone from $52 a lead down to about $16. Right. And the lead flow is decent. But our rule is you're on the phone with that, like calling them within 60 seconds or less.
Oh yeah.
See the lead, we text it. We have automations that text it right now, but text them from our number, say, this is Sid. I'm going to be calling you in just a sec, and then call. And if you wait 3 minutes, sometimes people literally forgot. They're like, what? We got my office manager, somebody submitted a lead. 4 minutes later, she gets a phone call. She picks up. She goes, hey, this is Emily with Spectrum Window Cleaning. And she's like, I don't know who this is. Click, and hung up. Yeah. And we're like, you just asked for information. So it's like the combination of distraction. And then when your company, my company, is the shiny, or is the exciting thing that they saw, and they're like, oh, let me get more information. And they do it. And then, but if you wait 2 minutes, how far down their scroll have they already gone?
Right.
And you're like, you are not in their head anymore. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. What have they bought in the meantime? Yeah, it's crazy.
Exactly. I don't know if it'll show up on screen here. I'm going to read Barry's comment. It's pretty long.
Yeah.
Very insightful, or very true. It says, nobody can take your customer away from you. You lose your customer for not taking care of them. If it's truly your customer, they're going to be your customer because of what you provide and the value. And if somebody can take them away, then that's not your customer. It's almost philosophical, but this is really good, because it's critical now. It's like, once you get a customer, you got to take care of them. And I know you've seen this over the years. We have two. We probably get a dozen times a year. We've had a good customer for years, and then they get somebody new. They're like, hey, Sid, they're going to do it for half price, half of what you're charging. I can't ignore that. I'm like, I understand. It's like, can you match the price? I'm like, no, I cannot. They're like, well, why not? And we tell them, and they're like, well, I'm going to try it anyway. and they try it. And then either right away or 6 months later, they call back and they're like, yeah, that was a terrible idea. Or if the thing that they value most is just cheap price, they're not worried about the quality or the customer service really, then like Barry was saying, they're not really our customer. They don't value what we provide. And that's a big deal. So you got to find your own people. All right. I want to keep running down the state of the industry with you. As far as or some of the economic challenges with inflation and stuff that we're seeing in the U.S., are you seeing that with some of your international people as well? Or since they don't have the same tariff tyranny that we've experienced, is it different?
Well, it's not very different internationally. When England Brexited from Europe, Europe made them pay in spades by tariffs and just being hard-nosed with them. So everybody likes to say, well, what Donald Trump in America is doing right now is, it's hurting things. It is hurting things to a certain degree. And they seem to think that's unique to just Donald Trump. No, this stuff has been going on. You do international business, you see bigger numbnuts out there than Donald Trump doing way stupider things. And it just is that way. But in the United States, I will say that the moves that have happened politically throughout the last several years, going from COVID, that move seemed to help our industry. And then some of the other moves have come along, have hurt our industry. We are very precariously placed atop a little pitch that we balance on as being a home service that is not necessary. You know what I'm saying? If your air conditioning goes out, you're getting it fixed that day. If your hot water heater goes out, you're getting it fixed that day. If you can't open your garage and go to work, you're getting it fixed that day. I mean, plumbing, you get a plumbing leak in your house, you're getting it fixed that day. Okay? You can go a long time with dirty windows. Now, not in England. The whole house can have moss growing on it this thick, and they'll have weekly window service there. It's ridiculous. And somebody comes and cleans your windows every single week, and I'm like, moss all over your house. You're cleaning your windows every week. This is crazy. But in the United States, the average United States homeowner might do their windows twice a year. Most do them once every 2 years. And, you can live a long time in an air-conditioned home with hot water and electric and no plumbing leaks with a dirty roof. And so when the pitch underneath us starts to get unstable, and then all of this rocking and rolling starts to happen. I remember last year, new president got in office, and a new president's always good, whether it's a Democrat or Republican, because some group has hope. And hope is contagious, and people spend money when they have hope. And so whenever there's a changing of the guard, it's always good. It's always good for business. New guy got in, whether you like him or not. New guy got in. January, I was up 250%. February, I was up 250%. March, tariffs.
Yeah.
And it was just like my manufacturing company, 40% of everything we made went overseas. And instantly, I had a 40% drop in revenues.
Wow.
Instantly. They did tariffs. I didn't get another order the whole rest of the year. And it's just like, are you kidding me? Now, you start sniffing around for other cheese, and you find other cheese stations, and you make some adjustments. But it's like, do I really have to do this? And so it starts to wear on you. And so I figured, hey, 2026, we're coming into spring. A lot of things happen in 2025. Charlie Kirk getting killed. Hulk Hogan dying, Ozzy Osbourne dying. I was an 80s kid. It sucked, John Sykes died, lead guitarist from Whitesnake. It's like, come on, people, give me a break here. And, so 2025 was bad. 2026, we're like, okay, here comes spring. We're up. Surely Donald Trump couldn't, to coin a phrase I was talking about earlier, screw the pooch.
But what happened?
2 springs in a row. What does he do February 28th? He bombs Iran. And I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me. Really? Yeah. You've got to be kidding me. And so, but here's the thing, and I'll give you an analogy. And everybody, please listen to this. Please listen to this, because this is, even if you're not a fishing person, even if you're not a fisherman or a fisherwoman, okay? There are days when I go out on my boat, I've got one of these Fitbit watches. When I go out on my boat, by 11 o'clock in the morning, I have done this back and forth and cast enough times. I hit 11,000 steps by 11 o'clock in the morning, 10,000 steps by 11 o'clock in the morning, fishing. And there's some days for every 30 casts I make, I catch a fish. And there's some days I have to put in 20,000 casts to get 5 bites all day to land 3 fish. Wow. And we are just in a time right now. Doesn't mean you're not going to catch fish. Doesn't mean you're not going to eat. Doesn't mean that you can't flourish. The amount of energy you have to put into it is like me going out fishing and having to cast 20,000 times in an 8-hour period of time to get 5 bites to catch 3 fish. And back during the pandemic, we were catching fish every 20 minutes. And we are just in different times right now.
I want to bring it back around to that. Hold on, does that audio sound really bad? I'm getting feedback on me.
You're great. You're good.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I want to give away this ticket to the huge convention and then come back and talk about that specifically. The principle, there are a couple of biblical principles in your Bible guide, Christian. And I love digging into what does the word say that applies directly to business. So we'll come back to that.
Best business book in the world, the Bible.
100%.
Yeah.
So let's give away a ticket to the huge convention. The huge convention, you see it scrolling across the bottom here, is August 26th through 28th in Orlando at the Palms Resort. Some of the things about that are cool. It's a really nice property. It's not as big as the Gaylord in
Nashville.
So less people will get lost, myself included, and that's good. It also, being Orlando, it's inexpensive to get there, which is really cool. There's lots of flights in and out of Orlando. I'm in Montana. When I fly to Nashville, I go there 4 times a year. It's always about $650 round trip ticket. I got my ticket to Orlando. It was $380, and I was all excited. I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And it's further away. So, but let me just ask everybody the question now. You guys on live? Who's going to the huge convention already? And who doesn't have a ticket? We don't have a ton of people on here. I can make a contest out of it. Or if we find out that
there's one person
except one guy, I'm just going to give it to the guy.
Yeah.
So, Jamie, are you going to the huge convention? Barry, I know you're going to the huge convention. Richard, are you coming this year? Patrick, Casey, you guys coming to the huge? Do you need a ticket? Let me know. Right here in the chat. If you don't, we're just going to get into this biblical principle that I want to ask you about. So, Barry, my man. All right. Jad, good to see you here, by the way. I'm glad you're coming. I knew you were coming because I saw it on Facebook the other day. So, all right. Okay. This is just my silliness. Okay. Patrick doesn't have a ticket. Barry doesn't have a ticket. So, Barry calls you Pops. I haven't met Patrick, so we're gonna rock paper scissors. You represent Barry.
Okay.
I represent Patrick.
All right.
And we're tell me, you ready to go? We will rock paper scissors.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
You got me.
Okay.
On paper, your scissors.
Okay. Patrick, you got a ticket. Here's how you claim it. And you're on the Facebook page for the huge convention anyway. Send a private message or a direct message and say, I want a ticket with Sid, and I'll make sure you get the code and get it taken care of. Barry, go ahead and send me a message as well. It's not free, but it's almost free. I've got something for you too. So we'll get you taken care of. Okay.
It's almost free.
Yeah.
It's a free ticket to the huge convention. But bring baby oil and make sure your hands are ready for a long foot massage, right?
Whoa. Okay. I don't know where we're going with this. Yeah. I got you.
Okay.
All right. So you've probably experienced this. Right now in my service business here, all of my employees are in their 20s, which is exciting because they speak a different language than I do. But I've found, like how to reach them, and like we work really well together. But I don't speak their lingo. But one of the things they're most fascinated with is I call it, story time with Uncle Sid. Every Wednesday morning, we don't talk about window cleaning. We talk about the principles for living a life.
Right.
Well.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's where I go back to. You were talking about some days every 20 casts, you're pulling one in. Some
right.
days it's 1,000 or 20,000. Like it's so different. There's the parable of the sower and the seed.
Right.
Where it says the sower goes out to sow. Guy goes out to plant seeds and he scatters out a seed. And then some falls on rocky ground, some falls on good ground, some springs up right away, but it's choked out by the weeds. The bird gets some, some springs up, but it doesn't have roots, so it dies. And then some comes up and it brings forth 100-fold, 30-fold, 60-fold. And so that principle is part one, is what I see, no matter what the season is like, when the fish are biting, that's the best time to go fish because it's just easy. But when they're not biting, you got to work for it. But the point is, you just keep going and you just keep putting in the work. There's another biblical principle I want to tie that to, but I want to ask you if there's anything specific either that comes to mind or a biblical principle for business that you lean on heavily, especially when times get tough or tight.
Well, one of them is actually, we have our mission, value, and purpose statement at Softwash Systems. And, so our mission is to see 1,000 companies by the year 2040 under our business model and thriving. Our value statement is Matthew 25. And that's the parable of the talents. And then our purpose statement, I'm trying to remember what the purpose statement was. But anyhow, the main point I'm trying to make is Matthew 25. And Matthew 25 is, of course, the parable of the talents, and where the master was getting ready to go away on a trip. And he went to one of his servants and gave him 10 talents. I'll make the numbers easy. To another one, he gave 5 talents. And to another, he just gave 1, all according to their abilities or, their talent level, their, what they had demonstrated. And so to the one that when he got back with his trip and all, and he came back and he wanted to hold accounting with his servants, to the one that he gave 5 talents to, or 10 talents to, that he invested it, he worked it, he managed it well and managed the operation. And he came back and said to his master, he says, "Hey, listen, I was a good servant. I did what you told me to do. I was very studious and look, boss, you gave me 10. I got 10 more, doubled your money." And he said, "Well done, good and faithful servant." Okay. Then the one with 5 talents came in and said, "Hey, boss, good to see you back and everything else. I was a good servant. I really watched your money, invested it, just really managed it well. And look, you gave me 5 talents. I found, 5 more and doubled it." And the master said, "Well done, good and faithful servant. And enter my house to celebrate." And then the one that he gave 1 to came back and said, "Master, I'm glad you're finally back. I know you're a hard man. I know you reap where you haven't sown. And, I know that you are very tenacious and you've got a reputation and all this other kind of stuff." He said, "So I was afraid. So when you left, I went, man, what am I going to do with this 1 talent? So I went and found a big rock and buried it under the rock. And then when I saw you were coming back, I went and dug it up. And look, boss, I didn't screw the pooch. I didn't screw up. Look, here's your 1 talent back." And when you talk about younger people nowadays, younger people don't seem to have the drive that some of us do, or even the life expectations we do. They're like, I just want to have the experiences of life. I don't need to make a whole bunch of money. I just want to take care of my family. And it's not a bad attitude. It's kind of a middle of the road attitude. But where we get into trouble is when we don't take what we've been blessed with and replicate it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We all seem to think like borrowing your parents' car. Look, mom, dad, I didn't get killed and I didn't scratch your car. Here's your keys back. Didn't I do a great job? It's like, no, that's what was expected. You didn't do a great job. You did the minimal expectation. If you had come back to me and said, look, mom and dad, I didn't kill myself. I didn't scratch your car. There was no damage on your car. But while I was out, I went to the detail center and I washed it and I vacuumed it out and I armor-alled the dashboard. And, and I went ahead, because you let me borrow the car on such a regular basis, I went and got the oil changed for you and I checked all the tire inflation. And not only here's your car back, but it's in better shape than what you gave it to me. That's the replication.
Yes.
And so the master, when the one came, said, look, I didn't screw the pooch. I didn't wreck the car. Here's your one talent back. He said, you evil, wicked servant. So I've got a reputation. So I reap where I don't sow. So I'm a tenacious person and a hustler. That's fine. He said to the others, he said, take the one talent away from that servant and throw that servant where there is weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Yeah.
And so it's like, wow. So just doing enough isn't enough. People who just do the minimum go where there is weeping and gnashing of teeth. And that's weeping and gnashing is kind of what you do when your car is getting ready to be repossessed. Weeping and gnashing of teeth is what happens when you are missing mortgage payments and you're going to go into foreclosure. Weeping and gnashing of teeth is when you're bouncing checks and you're in debt, your credit cards are all filled up. It's probably because you're doing just enough to get by and you don't understand the concept of replication.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That brings us all the way back around. We're talking about, the state of the industry and how maybe lead flow is down, or, the different levels of competition, who's been in business for a long time and who hasn't. But the reality is, you see this in real estate real crystal clear. When the market's hot, suddenly, there's not 200 realtors in town, there's 2,000.
Right.
And this was in the lead up to the 2006, 2008, crisis. Like everybody was a realtor. And then when the market tanks, like nobody's a realtor, and you're like, they're just gone. And the same thing happens in our industry when things get tight. The one talent guy, the one that was, I remember the first time I read that, I was like, why is he giving this guy a hard time?
Right.
He got him his money back. He didn't lose it.
He didn't screw up. Yeah.
Yeah. But he was like, wicked and slothful servant, get the hell out. And I was like, but then understanding it, it's like, oh, this is what happens in your company.
Right.
Anybody watching, when things slow down, if you get 10 or 20 employees, when things slow down, who gets laid off first?
Yeah.
It's
the ones that aren't pulling their weight, the ones at the bottom, the ones that if they were gone tomorrow, you wouldn't miss them.
Yeah. And when the economy slows, who goes out of business first?
Yeah.
It's like, I think it was Donald Miller. We were talking privately after he spoke 2 years ago. He was talking about, he said, anytime there's a downturn in the market, 30% of the companies go out of business. He said, your job is not to be the bottom 30.
Right.
Like you don't even have to be that great. Just be in the top half. You don't have to be the top 1%.
Yeah. Like when you're running from the lions, you don't have to be the fastest gazelle. You just have to be faster than the least fast gazelle and the slowest gazelle,
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, I'm excited to see you at the Huge, just because I always enjoy seeing you and Karen and the booth that you bring, and you always have a setup that is fun to go to. Anybody that's we'll see you when you walk in the door because you're always close, but you got to check out AC stuff because it's all set up so well. And also on Friday, the 28th, you're delivering the keynote. Mm-hmm. And this is the first year in a long time. I'm not going to be the MC. My friend Danny Lear is going to MC, but it gives me an opportunity to speak from stage because I always miss that. So I'm doing a TED talk right before you. So we'll get to see each other and high five on stage as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you.
Well, that's great. Well, that'll be fun. You'll get them all warmed up for me, I guess.
That's right. I will try not to tell any of the same stories because my kids, I said my kids, my employees, they're all kids. They all think that everyone over 50 just tells the same stories. I'm like, that's not true.
No,
it's probably a little bit true, but
yeah.
There we go. Let's see. All right, Jamie, what a great way to wrap it up. Here's a moment to a book recommendation for everybody watching. I'm going to reach over and grab the one that I've been reading now, been rereading for probably the third time. My book recommendation is, especially in times when things get tighter, like understanding human nature and how or why people make decisions and when they don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
The OG, influenced by Robert Cialdini.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, there's a lot of things that people do that they just do. You put them in the right situation or a situation to make a decision. It's just automatic. They buy with emotion.
Yeah.
And then justify with logic later to trying to not get in trouble. Mm-hmm. And every time I read this, I'm like, why are people so dumb? I mean, it's beautiful. It's not dumb. It's just predictable, I think is the right word.
It is predictable. Yeah. We're animals after all. My two pet peeves in life is self-justification and situational ethics. Mm-hmm. Those are my two. Woo! Just don't even. We're going to have problems if you exercise any of those two.
That's where you go. Don't get me started on this, son.
That's right. Like soapbox right here. Yeah. All right. So unadulteratedly plug, the 5 keys to pattern success is good, but somebody gave me this about 2 weeks ago. It's longitude. And it's a story of the guy who actually discovered longitude and how you can plot a course using longitude on the earth. And very, very interesting read how that came about and how it changed navigation, how it changed, how we're doing GPS and satellites and everything based off of this. Nice inspirational read because you don't have to be special to make a difference on the earth. This person made a huge difference in how we all perceive this planet and travel and GPS and satellites and everything else based on this one principle of longitude.
That's
yeah. So somebody gave this to me and said, AC, I was just thinking about you when I read this and everything else, and you need to read this book. So that's what I'm doing now. So
that is cool. Well, for everybody on, thank you for joining us live. I really appreciate your time. Like that, there's one thing that we're not making more of is time. So thanks for spending years with us. Look forward to seeing you at the Huge Convention. If you haven't got your tickets yet, when you go to thehugeconvention.com to get it, use code FREEDOM250. 250th anniversary of our great nation, birthday, Freedom250, and you can get $250 off your ticket. That code expires the end of day tomorrow. So we extended it from the 4th of July because a lot of people are like, oh, thank you. This made the difference whether I go or not. So use it. Join us at the Huge Convention. And AC, thank you very much for spending some time. This is, I think this is the 3rd time I've gotten to interview you like this, and it's always fresh. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I continue to bring the wisdom and the insight and the support to the industry. And I look forward to hearing your story from stage on the 28th about the newest transition in your world and how you've adapted to a changing world.
The art of the shift or the pivot. Yes. Yeah.
Right on. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Stay, keep an eye on our YouTube. This is Facebook, our Facebook channel. We're going to be doing Facebook Live Tuesdays and Thursdays. And next week on Wednesday, I'm interviewing Tom Reber. He's going to be keynote on day 1, the contractors fight. But we're going to introduce and highlight about 19 of our speakers and vendors over the course of the next 3 weeks. So get together, have some fun. We'll give away tickets, and we'll see you there. Thank you.
You're going to be busy.
I know. 3 weeks. All right.
All right, guys. See ya.
Have a great night. Hey, badasses. In case you're still here, apparently I just closed my laptop and walked away, but never ended the live stream. So here I go. See you all at the huge convention. You guys are awesome.